Welcome to the Team World Motivation Blog Talk Radio Show. We'll kick off our motivation session with some affirmations, and after that, a good motivational mindset, destination motivation. Get up, get out, and do something. Hot topic of the day. And that is showing kindness and also teaching you babies about how to deal with bullying and stress management. I believe that bullying is one of the hardest things to deal with as an adult. And when it comes down to you children and young adults, teens and adolescents, it's even harder because you guys are more dependent on your peers for likes and, social levels of peer sharing and understanding with each other. And as you get older in life, you'll realize it's not quite as important to be well liked as more as well respected or cared for in the manner or treated as you want to be treated. And with that being said, we're going to go over some topics that are important in dealing with stress management and dealing with the life as a teenager, young adult, adolescent, and things like that. And part of that is being kind and passing word. Then on top of that, learning how to deal with teasing, learning how to deal and recognize with stress and whatnot, and understanding your stress and dealing with the reduction of stress and finding good ways to do so that are in the nomenclature of not causing yourself further stress by reacting. It's easier said than done. I'm an adult. I've been bullied all my life just about, but I learned to tolerate a lot of functionally dysfunctional things in my lifetime. That does not mean it did not cause stress. It did. But I want you guys to understand that I'm learning now more than ever that it's important to reduce stress because as you get older, your body does not retain stress as better. So I wanted you babies to learn how to deal with stress and learn good coping mechanisms and when someone's trying to push your anger button and things like that. So let's get into the affirmations first and then we'll get into the actual study and the things that we need to talk about. And what I mean by study is for you guys to study the understanding of the words and what I'm trying to tell you guys so you can pick up on it and take it to a next level as an educational point. Just as I'm pursuing my education and things like that, I'm also pursuing my career. So part of this is that you study how to de-stress, and I actually get to a point where my studies aren't impeded by stress or out of order behavior or things that are divisive and non-conducive to my education, including up to my environment, which was pretty stressful. And at some point in time, you have to leave that environment, or you have to leave or address those that are causing stress and upset and disorder and chaos. And that in itself means sometimes making sure that the environment is addressed. And if it is a level of outside of your locus of control, then you deal with the people who handle all of that. And then if they don't handle that, then you handle it with law enforcement or lawsuits and things like that. And that's where we're headed to with that situation. But that's nor here nor there. So, as I was saying, let's get into the affirmations first and just really get ourselves wound into a positive mindset. And part of having a positive mindset is being around people who are actually decent and positive. Or if you do not have that, and your support or spark team is what I call it, then you need to be able to go and find a way to get to a level of finding people who actually make you feel good. So when we say to ourselves today, I am motivated, I am beautiful, I am courageous, I am compassionate, I am blessed, I am empowered, I am intelligent, I am inspired, I am confident, I am humble, I am strong, gentle, I am optimistic, I am passionate, I am driven, I am patient, I am teachable, I am learning, I am growing, I am inventing, I am living, I am creating, I am generous, I am deserving, I am prosperous, I am thriving, I am focused and achieving unstoppable levels. So in that I am abundance mindset, you want to get yourself to a point that you realize that people are often unreasonable and self-centered. You have to forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you're honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may not ever be enough. Give your best anyway. For you see, in the end, it's between you and God. It never's between you and in them anyway. And that's by Mother Teresa. So, with that being said, let's get into the levels that it can get to if you don't keep that I am abundance, unity, abundance, advanced mindset. And as a child or adolescent, young adult, getting into that is easier said than done because as a beacon and pillar of light, it's one of those type of things that you have to learn how to still be kind even though people are unkind to you. And that's part of one of the biggest master classes in life you'll have. Kindness, pass it on. Give a flower. Eat lunch with someone new. Listen to your heart. Visit a sick friend. Clean a neighbor's walkway. Offer a hug. Give an unexpected gift. Make a new friend. Pick up a litter of puppy dogs and feed them. Do something nice. Make a new friend. Say hello. Call a lonely person. Open a door for someone. Help carry a load or offload a load of stress from someone. Plant a tree. Pass a kindness on and buy someone's meal. Cheer up a friend. Maybe thank a teacher or mentor or someone like that. Give of your daily bread. Leave a thank you note. Offer your seat to someone. Be generous. Be tolerant. Those are things that help you to become kind and not a bully. Some people who are bullies are people who are not loved in life or not liked in life or not even cared for in life. And when you're a bully like that, there shows a level of deficit there. And then on top of that, that bully wants to push your anger button. And so we'll go into the first module of this, which is when a bully wants to push your anger button, understand that they like to trigger your anger and you have to find a way to control it. In that, you don't have to let people push your anger button. You have to remember in certain things, in certain spaces, people will push your anger button because they want control of the situation or just a control of their image. And that goes into the situations of you kids who are learning how to date, and then also high school foolishness and trying to learn how to deal with gossip, rumor mill, things like that. Sit that out. And then on top of that, when you're dealing with, can you tell yourself things to keep from getting angry when somebody's trying to push your anger button? When you say that, what can I tell myself? When you think about if somebody's trying to make you angry verbally, if somebody's trying to sit there and do things that are annoying, or is that an anger button? If somebody's trying to do something non-conducive and have other people, which I call flying monkeys, to make you upset, can you find a way to avoid that? If there is a confrontation, can you diplomatically, quietly, or in a level of finding a good way to use your mouth and the right pentameter to keep from cussing them out? That's easier said than done because when you're dealing with provokers, gaslighters, and bullies, sometimes it's everything to keep yourself from doing that. So when we think about that, we deal with teasing all the time. Even as an adult, people will tease you for unacceptable levels of disrespect and then expect you to be okay with it. And that's a person that likes and gets off on finding some type of fault in you when there may be no faults whatsoever. But when you're dealing with somebody who's willing to do that, that is a level of understanding what a bully will do. That is something that bullies get off on, flying monkeys get off on. And let me explain the term flying monkey, just so you guys understand that. A flying monkey is just like that of the Wicked Witch of the West. When you had the levels of abuse, narcissism, sociopathy, and things like that. But a flying monkey in a situation of bullying is someone who enables it. So when we're talking about a flying monkey, is a type of person who will sit there and absolutely narcissistically abuse someone on behalf of someone else. So when we think about a flying monkey abuser by proxy, we're talking about someone who is willing to abuse someone. Is a term in popular psychology, mainly in the context of narcissistic abuse or bullying, to describe a person who's acting on behalf of a narcissist or a person who is dysfunctional or extremely toxic towards a third party, usually in an abusive purpose, and for the means to get a reaction on the person who normally doesn't act like that, and you're seen upset and angry for no reason, then you're accused in reverse projection of being irrationally upset or not capable of keeping your cool. When when a narcissist or a bully or provoker or gaslighter go into this, and this is the same thing with dating violence, a person who's willing to sit there and provoke and gaslight and continue to go and cause a level of upset. And it's a popular term from the wonderful Wizard of Oz, where a wicked witch of the West had flying monkeys and they do evil deeds on her behalf. And that's the same thing with a narc by proxy or abuser by proxy or a bully by proxy. And so that's what they would call a flying monkey. And what I mean by they is the psychiatrists, psychologists, or people and LSWs, MSWs, and us life coaches. We know the terminology of a flying monkey or abuser by proxy or something like that. They're one and the same because they're not too far off from each other. So when we think about pushing someone's anger button, we're going to sit there and look at this scenario, right? Once upon a time, there was a girl named Liz. Let me clear my throat. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Liz, but that was not her name at school. Everyone called her Weird Liz. Mostly as one boy who called her that, a boy named Johnny, who had picked on her since the first day of school. "Oh, you have red hair and freckles," he shouted when Liz first walked into the classroom. "That's weird." And Liz responds, "It's not weird. My mom says it's pretty and different." "Whatever," said Johnny. "I think it's weird." And then on from all, he called her Weird Liz. So when we think about this, Weird Liz gets called a name because her hair is red, she's got freckles, and she's different. But in my mind's eye, and anybody else's mind's eye, Johnny needs a swift. And the thing is, you can't go to a swift like that, because at the end of the day, you'll end up duking it out in a classroom. And you don't want to do that in a classroom, a workplace, college setting, or anything like that. You don't want to get to a place of violence, or even in workplaces when the same type of scenario can happen. So we know Liz is not weird. We know she's different. We know that she's got red hair, freckles. So that's just different. But when we're thinking about somebody trying to push an anger button, what is Johnny trying to do? He's trying to get a level of upset out of Liz and have her blow up on him. And that's something that you have to remember, to be kind and dealing with someone trying to push your anger button. So in that, Liz either has to, 1, talk to the teacher, 2, either start writing it down, what he's doing, and start documenting the levels of how far he's taking it. And then on top of that, finding a way to sit there and understand what's stressing her. And that's where we go into the second part of this, which is understanding your stress. Understanding your stress is that you got to help identify the chronic stress in your life and determine if it's having an impact on your physical and mental health, overall happiness and mental health and wellness and well-being, and if it's compromising your well-being. I can give you a prime example of what I'm dealing with at one point in time, is dealing with offboarding of a relationship and dealing with a level of upset and ire that's evoked by a provoker, a bully, a gaslighter, and then on top of that, dealing with that in a workplace setting or acquaintances, business-wise, who have the same pentameter of the ex, and then on top of that, several exes that were back-to-back doing that. And then when you have dysfunction inside of a level of family and whatnot, functionally dysfunctional, it does not help the situation. So when you're talking about stress and mental health and physical health, all those go hand in hand, and you have to think about the body remembers every bit of trauma, upset, and stress. And if your body's been going through it for a long time, your body can go helter-skelter. So when we think about this, what you should know is that the stress that you experience in your life plays a major role in your physical and mental health and well-being. A little stress can be a good thing, even though it might not feel like it's true. Any kind of danger will trigger your stress fight or flight system. For example, if you encounter a large dog and it's growling at you, an alarm system will go off in your brain telling your body to halt, but surge of hormones happen, and including adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate will increase, your blood pressure will go up, sugar and glucose will enter your bloodstream, and you'll have a sugar rush of energy. That stress response is trying to protect you from perceived danger of that dog that could possibly hurt you, and your body's put on a high alert to do whatever is necessary to stay safe. It is the same nomenclature of dealing with bullying, provoking, gaslighting, harassing, haranguing, and long-term effects of that is that your body will eventually either be helter-skelter with your hormones, sugar regulation, and other different things for parasympathetic and sympathetic nerve. And we think a similar stress response systems triggered when you're anxious, and in a given performance or levels of presentation or things like that, or when you're doing business with an acquaintance that's like that, what do you feel? Anxiety, panic, and upset, or a feeling of dread when you're having to deal with them. So when you're thinking about that, you think about your hormones are putting you on alert and you giving you extra energy to focus on doing what you have to do and that perceived level of danger, anxiety. And then on top of that, if it's going over and over again, your body goes back to its normal state, but it can't do that long term. So when you're thinking about that, you have to think about chronic stress, and acute episodes of stress can cause serious problems because your body does not go back to a normal state. And that's exactly why you have to remember that you have to control the levels of stress that you're under. And then on top of that, with dealing with bullies and provokers, gaslighters, emotional abusers, tormentors, harmers, and things like that, you have to find activities and realize, where is my stress coming from? Is it coming from physical, emotional, behavioral, or then you have to circle the effects of the stress of what's going on and troubling you, and then look at the things that you can do to reduce these symptoms when you notice that the symptoms are becoming more and more intense, or if they're becoming less intense, but you're dealing with the remnants of stress, unnecessary, out of order, bullying, provoking, and gaslighting. So when we think about stress reduction activities, we have to think of things that help us to reduce that and what's appropriate for someone at that age. And when you think about that, you have to think about, how do I do certain things that make me happy, whether it's coloring in a color book, whether it's going to someone telling them what's going on, then working on different things that shape the area and figure of time of where you're being stressed out at, and then rediverting the upset, and then finding ways for you to actually reduce the risk. And movement and music is the way to go and sit there and do that. Exerting your energy in a good, proper manner. And then on top of that, finding a way to get a stress ball, playing charades, peer sharing with your other peers and understanding, hey, am I really supposed to react this way? And then make sure that you're doing things to help you to reduce those stresses in those manners of, sometimes you have to go to a level of speaking with a therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, or a life coach or something like that to help you go through those visual images and sort these things out. And simple meditation is also a good thing. So when we think about healthy and unhealthy coping strategies and things like that, we have to find a way for you to healthily cope with different things, because coping strategies are actions we take consciously and unconsciously to deal with stress and problematic things, and as well as uncomfortable emotions. Unhealthy coping strategies tend to feel good in the moment, but they'll have long-term negative consequences. Healthy coping strategies may not provide instant gratification, but they lead to long-term positive outcomes to do so. Because when you think of unhealthy things, turning to drugs and alcohol use is not going to help. Overeating, procrastination, sleeping too much or too little, social withdrawal, self-harm, or aggression are not good manners of that. But when you're dealing with toxic extreme stress, it might evoke that level of triggered upset and whatnot. And then you have to think of examples of healthy coping strategies, which is exercise, talking about your problem, talk therapy, and helping yourself to healthy eating, and then seeking professional help, relaxation techniques, deep breathing, meditation, and using social support and problem solving techniques that help you do that. And with that, you will have helped yourself to learn how to deal with stress, toxic shaming, bullying, provoking, gaslighting, and finding yourself coping better. So that's it for this coaching session. I hope you guys liked it. And for my babies, I want you guys to remember to stand in your illuminated light, plan for your changes, and then also find a way to each one reach one, teach one. Don't let the world pass you by. So thank you for attending the Team World Destination Motivation Get Up, Get Out, and Do Something. Don't let the world pass you by podcast. Thank you.